Of course nobody's posting. They're waiting for you. Like, they're waiting for you. So, and I said, you got to understand, the longer you wait to start, the longer you wait to win, because it's going to take a long time before this picks up steam anyway.
I think the biggest bottleneck for everyone, if that's the theme of this episode, is a misunderstanding of the power of consistency.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of Next Level University, where we teach you how to level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode, number 1054. Are you the big fish in your small pond? Any opportunity to talk about fishing in ponds on NLU, we will find a way to do it. Today, excuse me?
I miss it.
Yeah, I know, same. Today, for episode number 1055, where are you holding yourself back right now? I believe at all times as human beings, we are bottlenecking ourselves in some way, shape, or form. And part of, and one of the most beneficial parts of self-improvement is you figure it out faster. That's it.
Take care.
Have a good one.
Full disclosure, Kevin and I are in very, very giggly moods, and we need to say that.
Our back's really against the wall here because we have to record 4 episodes in order to cover for me being gone. And it's been a long week. It's been a long day. It's been a long month.
How long are you going away? 10 days, right?
10 days.
10 days.
10 days.
The longest Kevin's been away from the podcast since its fruition.
That's the longest I've ever been away ever.
Yeah.
In my life. I've never gone anywhere.
Okay. Ever in your entire life?
Yeah, I've never gone away from 10 days ever.
It's a great point. I don't think I have either.
Yeah. So
it's a long time.
It is a long time, yeah. It's like the honeymoon. Nice. It's the, we're eloping and then it's going to be the honeymoon as well. So it's a win-win. Yeah. And it's way cheaper than a wedding. Okay. Why are we doing this episode? I did and we got to come up with a better name, but so I don't have to spell it out. But we call it a Next Level YOU live in our private Facebook group. And I was chatting with somebody named Christy, and Christy is a business owner, and she's awesome. She's been in group coaching twice. She's working one-on-one with Alan. I believe at some point she's going to start a podcast, which is awesome. And this is one of the questions I asked her. I said, where are you holding yourself back right now in your life? What is something that you know you should be doing, but you just haven't done yet? And she said, honestly, it's me being out here more doing stuff like this, doing podcasts, being on social media, spreading the message about what I do. And I actually had a call or a meeting today with somebody that inspired me a ton, and they kind of called me out on it. And when they called me out, I knew. I had that moment of, I know. And I said, well, what are you going to do about it? And she said, well, I'm going to do stuff like this. Like, this is a great example of what I should be doing. And I think that level of self-awareness is so important because I don't know what Alan's example of this is, right? But I think for me, and our goal is always to be vulnerable and transparent. And at the end of the day, the last thing I want you to hear is, oh, Kevin and Alan don't struggle with whatever they're talking about. For me right now, the biggest thing holding me back is understanding that I had to get to a certain finish line before I could leave to travel. So it's very much been like this mad race to just get through this month by any means necessary. And I've been burning the candle at both ends. The cardio definitely has taken a toll on me. I'm glad I'll be taking time off from exercise, which I'm actually excited about. But I've definitely been overpouring at my own detriment, I would say. But that's because I realize I'm going to be away for 10 days. So I want to try to build as much momentum as I can. So hopefully we don't lose. We'll lose some, but not the least amount possible. Right? Yep. That's my main goal. So I think that's where I've been holding myself back. Just not working from a place of sustainability, but working from a place of, I understand there's an end date to this, and then I'm going away, and then when I come back, I can rebuild.
The frame that I want to bring to the table here for this episode is, in a way, that's kind of all that coaching is. And self-awareness, I don't know who it was that mentioned this, maybe Dave Meltzer, but what he said is there's two ways to look at self-improvement. One is you have to go and chase this goal to go and get it. The other is I'm already connected to it. I just have to get rid of the junk in order to attract it. And I think it's both. I do. I think there's room for both. I think you do have to. A lot of people think one way or the other. It's like the go-getter or the person who thinks that they can wish checks into their bank account type of thing in terms of the law of attraction. And I think there's truth to both. I really do. I think, there's the go-getter and the go-giver. I want to be the grow-giver. So pour into your own cup, grow, give from that place of abundance, and then let the law of attraction start to work for you in alignment with your core aspirations and core values and core beliefs. But I digress here. So at all times, if you think about it this way, all of us at all times have something we should be probably pursuing that we're not pursuing, and things that we are pursuing that we should stop. And then at the same exact time, there's things inside of us that are holding us back. Beliefs, thought processes, systems. So paradigms, the things that we believe about ourselves and other people. Inaccurate thinking is another big one. And so what I want to do on this episode is kind of, instead of identifying maybe a bottleneck that you have, Kev, or that I have, it's talk about this from a macro perspective of that's what this podcast is anyway. Yeah. We're always identifying and re-identifying and learning and relearning and unlearning so that we can constantly mitigate our bottlenecks. There's a quote where it's like, the reason you've gotten to where you are now, everyone watching or listening to this, is with the level of thinking that you currently have. And Einstein talked about how you cannot solve a problem with the same level of thinking that created that problem. And so you don't solve your problems, you outgrow them. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. We talk about personal development, set point, all that kind of thing. Kev, I'm going to turn the tables here on you. You already talked a little bit about, some of the things that are holding you back lately. Can we go through some of the things that in hindsight were holding you back? Because I think they are very relatable. The very beginning of this dream chasing thing, when you quit your corporate job and you started a podcast and you didn't know what the heck you were doing. Right? Yep. And now you're thousands of episodes in and you really do know about podcasting at a very, very, very high level. What were the bottlenecks that now it's very clear that you had bottlenecks in your life that you didn't know back then were the issue? Because I think that's, and I'll stop talking in a second here. That's the issue. You didn't know what your bottlenecks were.
Lack of awareness.
And now it's so clear looking back, but the problem is how do you know what you don't know? And so please share.
I would say one of the first things for me was the understanding of, and I don't know if this is a phrase or what, I'm going to use it, but persistent patience. The persistence of actually doing something, but the patience to understand that it will pay off eventually. So I remember it was so hard for me when I was traveling to have the discipline to post the podcast episodes. So for those who are new, Alan and I have been partnered up since I think episode maybe 17.
7?
Yeah,
oh, yeah, no, you're right. It was longer than that.
I think so, right?
Because, the guest that you had for 16, I remember I didn't agree with, and it was right after that,
Yeah, so maybe 17, we'll say. So in the
Strong work.
Yeah, I genuinely don't
I think
remember.
it was.
One
I think
before
it was.
18, 17. Okay. In the beginning, I was doing all the audio editing. And I remember I would drive from Massachusetts to New Jersey to work. I'd have my laptop with me, and it would be 10 at night, and I'd be like, I don't want to edit this episode right now. I don't want to do this, and then post it for 3 people to listen to. I remember that was a challenge, I think believing it would be worth it. That was a very big challenge for me, because at the beginning, it's not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
In the beginning, it's not worth it at all. You're not getting any return on any of your time. I had a client today, Alan, and I'm very grateful for this client because I can talk very straightforward with this client, and I'm very grateful for that. And we were talking about a Facebook group that he has, and he's got a podcast. And he said, there's no energy. There's no energy in there, and it's draining being in there, and it's just so hard to post. And I said, you are the energy. You're the energy. That's why people come to the Facebook group. That's your job. And He was like, well, there's 30 people in there and nobody's posting. I said, we have 700 or whatever it is. And of course nobody's posting. They're waiting for you. Like, they're waiting for you. So, and I said, you got to understand, the longer you wait to start, the longer you wait to win, because it's going to take a long time before this picks up steam anyway. I think that was my biggest thing in the beginning, Alan, is like, number one, understanding how important everything is. Just every single thing you do every day is very, very important. But pairing that with the fact that the results are not going to come for months and years.
Yeah.
I think that was the biggest thing. Not even delaying gratification, but changing my expectations around success. That was my bottleneck, because you will not, again, if you do not believe it's worth it, you most likely won't pour into it. It's like, well, why am I going to pour my drink into something and not get it back? It's like, well, you will get it back, except when you get it back, it'll be, instead of a little glass, it'll be a giant flask eventually.
And it's more than that too, because it's forever.
Right.
Like the work that you did back then, like really think about this. Kevin posting consistently back then for 4 or 5 listens back then is still paying us dividends.
Yeah.
In terms of impact.
Well, I wasn't
revenue.
Consistent. I wasn't consistent back then. Not like when you and I got together.
Interesting.
Hey guys, it's Alex Ramos, and I am happy that I was in group coaching for a second time. It definitely helps to have accountability and all of that good stuff. I feel like I am constantly going up and down and everything, but it's always good to have someone message on WhatsApp and then a reminder, hey, get back on it. So it was good. I definitely got a lot of good information that I'm going to continue learning because I am a little backed up, but I'm happy that I invested in this because it was investing in me. And even better, I get to meet people that are doing the same exact thing to help themselves. And I need friends and close people around me like that, So yeah, I really appreciated being in group coaching because of the accountability and because of meeting people.
That's gotta be the biggest bottleneck, I think, in everyone's thinking. I was on the phone earlier with one of our team members, and we, for every department in our business, it was an optimal software solution. So we have a department called Optimal Software Solutions. For those of you who have not downloaded the app, go grab it. I'm joking. But seriously, if you do want to track your habits, it is a habit tracker. But we have a department meeting every week for every department, and we have metrics that we use for every single department. It has its own metrics of like, this is what matters, and are we growing or are we not growing? Okay, towards our goals. And we have 56 users right now on the app, which is awesome. I'm really pumped about that. And not everyone else is on the team, right? Some people think we should be farther along, but I have a very long-term perspective. And we crunched the numbers of how much we want to grow over the years and all that. And I talked to the champion of Optimal, his name's Matt, and we were reverse engineering goals, and we at NLU, we reverse engineered most of our goals for the next 13 years. So essentially it's January 1st, 2036, and we reverse engineered how many weeks it is until then, which it's 701 weeks until then. And we reverse engineered what our weekly growth rate needs to be in order to achieve our goals of how many users we want. And I actually looked up MyFitnessPal, how many users MyFitnessPal has. It's 140 million. And we're going to surpass MyFitnessPal, or that's the goal anyways, by January 1st, 2036. And so we need to grow by 2.171% per week in order to do that. So we have some conditional formatting around that. But anyways, when I reverse engineered this goal, Matt got to see the difference between 1%, 2%, and 3% over the 701 weeks. And it's like wildly different. It's not even close. And so I think, and that's when I really told him, I said, did you think before this conversation that, and by the way, that's only 13 years. Can you imagine 30 years? That's only 701 weeks. Can you imagine what 30 years would do? And so again, I think the biggest bottleneck for everyone, if that's the theme of this episode, is a misunderstanding of the power of consistency. based on the power of compounding. Have you started the book, The Psychology of Money, yet?
I have not started it yet, no.
Okay. I'm reading a book right now called The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's really a powerful book that helps you understand why most people are not investing long term, because of this misunderstanding of the bow tie and the compound effect of like, you're going to pour for a very long time before you see the returns. But when you do see the returns, they get wild. And it's very, very difficult because it's against human nature, because human nature is, I need, money now, or I need food now, or I want to survive now, or I want, and so I think a lot of this is just a low awareness around trusting. Imagine if all of us really did believe in our own abilities long term. Of course we would put in the effort today. If we knew the downside of a 2% workout versus a 3% workout over the next 13 years, people really would put in the extra effort if they knew the benefit long term. And a lot of times we see the people with the benefits that are years and years and years, sometimes decades later, and we're, oh my God, it must be nice. But Kevin Hart, for example, anyone who knows Kevin Hart, he talks about how he spent 16 years in the industry before he was famous. Like 16 years of just grinding when no one knew him and he was written off, and now he's Kevin Hart and the whole world knows his name, but he was not destined to make it. He just grinded for 16 years. And I just think that's the biggest bottleneck, in my opinion, to everyone's success. And trust me, there's risk. Like, working hard at something for a decade and then not succeeding is probably going to be one of the most painful things in the world. And is that possible? Yes, it's possible. But put it this way, if it's something that is aligned that you really want to achieve, I bet you'd surprise yourself, mathematically speaking. I bet you'd surprise yourself with the results. I know you've been surprised at how much this business has grown in the last couple of years, sure. Particularly the last 6 months, right? We've grown more in the last 6 months than the previous several years. And so it gets wild. You just have to trust that. And I think, again, that's what I think is most people's bottleneck.
Well, it's such a challenge. It's not my favorite quotes, but one of the new quotes I've been saying is we don't see where Kevin Hart started. We only see where Kevin Hart is. And we don't see where we are where we're potentially able to go. We only see where we currently are. And it's very hard to picture all of that stuff at the same time. It's just hard to imagine yourself 15. It's hard to imagine yourself 1 year, never mind 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the line. So I very much understand. But also, now seeing the numbers, it makes sense. But at the end, so when we finish this episode, if you're not driving, obviously, write out, where am I crushing it right now? Where am I holding myself back? What's one thing I can do to break free of where I'm holding myself back? And write down what's one good measurement to prove that I'm making progress with that. If you write those things down and take action on them, that's a good way for you to get unstuck if you feel like you're stuck. Awareness is always the first step, but then it's like, well, what are you going to do with it after? Awareness creates opportunity, and you can change your behavior and you'll get different opportunities, but you have to first say, you know what? Yeah, I gotta let myself, or I gotta stop myself from letting myself off the hook here and just say, yeah, I'm holding myself back because I'm not posting on social media. I'm holding myself back because I keep hitting snooze. I know that. I gotta stop doing that. It starts with awareness. We always give tactics on how and deeper understanding on how, but awareness is always the first step. And you have to ask yourself the question.
Kev, I've been doing this with clients. I know we got to go. This will be an interesting exercise. So I've been doing this with my clients privately. And it's really helping them understand themselves and other people at a deeper level, and life at a deeper level. And I want to do it with you really quickly, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So 3 bullet points, positive, and then 3 bullet points, constructive, aka negative, or, less than ideal. I want you to be very direct with yourself and our listeners and me in your answers. So 3 sentences talking about Kevin at the beginning of this journey. What are 3 positive things that you would say objectively? The key is to take emotion out of this. Okay, I want you to objectively talk about Kevin. I know Kevin's a good dude and he's got a good heart. But when it comes to success and his ability to achieve his dreams, I want you to be very objective. Like, these are the things that are great about Kevin.
In the beginning?
Keep doing those. In the beginning. Yeah, in the beginning. And then 3 negative ones where it's like, these need to change. And if these don't change objectively, regardless of how awesome Kevin is as a person, he will not win. He will not succeed. He will not be fulfilled and achieve his dreams. So just 3 and 3, and then hopefully the listeners can do something like that with themselves. I think the people who really make positive change are the most candid, they have the most truth, direct, objective, honest feedback with themselves. And I've been leaning into that with my clients, and it's wild some of the results that they're getting, and they're thanking me later. So it's something I think I want to share on the podcast.
Okay, I would say one. We'll do positive first.
Yep.
Kevin was always focused on adding value to other humans. Always.
Fire.
That's always been a focus, even though I didn't always know how to do it. That would be one. Kevin always tries to empathize with people for where they are, not where they want to go. One more. Kevin does his best to make sure that people feel safe. I would say those are 3. And I would say those are the same.
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't mention the work ethic.
I didn't have it in the beginning, as much as you think. That's going to be one of my negatives.
Okay, fair. Okay, perfect. All right, yeah. So give me now remember, this is objective. Emotions taken out of this, just temporarily, So be objective with yourself, and don't sugarcoat it. If you were talking to Kevin and you had to give him the truth, the hard truth he didn't want to hear, these 3 sentences. Go ahead.
There is 0% chance you get the level of success you want if you keep working for 4 hours and then smoking weed at noon on a Thursday. That would be one. That would definitely be one.
Yeah.
This is going to require way more of you than you understand. So Kevin did not understand how much this would actually take. I think he fell into the confusion that a lot of people do where people post on social media, hey, I got successful very easily. I think I fell for that in the beginning, for sure. And that's one of the reasons I'm so no BS about it now.
Yeah, so your objective sentence is, hey, Kevin, you're talking to Kevin. Go ahead. What is the sentence for that one?
Hey, Kevin, the people that are telling you this is going to be very easy, either A, don't want what you want, B, got lucky, or C, forgot what it was like to work hard.
Nice.
That
okay, fire. Okay.
And then
one more.
If you don't take a real good look at the people around you, you're not going to get to where you want to go because you have people in your life holding you back. That's what I would say.
Super powerful. Super powerful. I've been doing that with clients. I'm telling you, it changes their understanding of themselves because it takes them out of it. And it's like, what would you say to you if you were your coach? It's like, oh shit, I would definitely say that. It's powerful. I mean, I encourage everyone out there listening or watching. Vegetables are good for you. They don't taste good. That's what this is. They're good for you, but they suck. I want to eat cake and ice cream too. All the time. I want to look at all my awesome stuff. Alan, you're so good at all this stuff. It's not useful. It is. That's why it's 3 and 3. Wins first, positives first. Give yourself credit first, but then you got to look at what's holding you back. And I think we know. Deep down, we kind of know. And we need the permission. You got through to me on the permission thing.
Ah, nice.
And we need to hear it from someone we trust. And when I'm telling these clients to tell me what they would say as their own coach, they know the answers, right? So powerful.
Let that ish go. If it's holding you back, let it go. Next level, nation. If you feel like lack of awareness is one of the things holding you back, and you're thinking, I get a lot of that from the podcast. It's definitely raising my awareness, but I want a little bit more. We have Next Level Live 2022 packaged very nicely with all of the speakers and the PowerPoint presentation and everything you could ever need live on our website right now. It is $47, which is less than half the price of the ticket if you are in person. And as always, our goal is to add value, so I promise it is valuable. If not, if you download it and you don't like it, just send me an email and I'll genuinely give you your money back, because I don't want your money if it's not valuable. So that is in the show notes, as well as our website, nextleveluniverse.com.
We also, as you know, we mentioned in this episode, we have a habit tracker. If you want to get on track, you start off with 3 habits. As long as you're consistent with 3, you can jump to 6. If you're consistent with 6, you jump to 9. And you can join us in the hashtag NextLevel9 challenge. If you listen to episode 999, we articulate a challenge that we're doing where there's 3 habits under health, 3 habits under wealth, and 3 habits under love. We will provide a digital asset and a link to episode 999 and a link to the app Optimal. And if you want to get on track towards your goals and dreams, the goal is to create the train tracks that's going to take you there. And that's what Optimal is for. It's going to keep you on track. Does not mean you're perfect. You can fall off track and then get back on track. It's not about never falling off the horse. It's about getting back on the horse quicker and better each time.
Next Level Nation, tomorrow for episode number 1056. This is a question that I would ask myself for sure if I was back at the beginning of my journey. Why is your circle your circle? That is going to be a very, very powerful episode. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we do not have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Please reach out.